What is going on, guys? It's Steeler here, back again with RDX Podcast, of course, the weekly show with all the information you need in gaming. And, of course, we've got a phenomenal panel, including a brand new RDX member. We'll get to that. But first, I want to start by introducing some of these guys. We'll let some people stream in. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff today, guys. Game Pass, the exclusives, and whether or not that's a debacle to certain people, and so much more. We got so many topics. We probably are going to take a while getting through all of them. So I want to start by introducing the Ash and Luca. Thanks again for showing up.
Hey, man, what's up? And what's up to everyone in the chat? I just want to say I'm really happy to be here. Oh, man, we got a good topic list this week. And I'm very, very happy to, say hello, D, and welcome to the panel. D is a really awesome guy, and I'm happy that he's one of our, he's already one of my bros, but he's already ex-bro now, and that's awesome.
Fonzarelli, brother, thanks for making it in. You got punched in the face by Daniel Cormier. What's going on?
I think he got punched off the podcast.
He did. I'll do his voice. Hey, what's going on? This is Fonz. Yeah, doing real good. Fonz will be right back. He had a little dentist thing. He said his jaw's all messed
up. Fonz had to go take some baby aspirin. Colt, what have you been up to, bro? Thanks for showing back up once again.
Just been enjoying Forza Horizon 7. Just having a good time. I'm excited. This is a really, really good show today. I already know it's going to be a crystal ball and everything.
Yeah, it's great. So get the crack pipe, sit down, and grab a drink as we introduce the newest member of RDX Podcast. We've had other people on, but we, in an aim to get things more consistent because work schedules were kind of in the way, we wanted to get the goat petter himself, D Batch, on here. Longtime friend, D, thanks for joining the crew officially, man. Full time every week. You will find D here at 7 p.m. Central Time here in the States. RDX Podcast. D, what's going on, man?
Man, feeling good. It's good to be back with the crew. I'm excited to get on these topics today, man. I'm so excited myself, honestly, to tell you. Today was just a fantastic day for Xbox fans. And to be honest with you, just the last week or so, just so much news has come in for gaming, for everything. I'm just excited. Let's go. Let's do it.
You're right. Yeah, lots happened, man. Unfortunately, that's the same time frame as when the semester started up again. So it's great. Great for me. So I want to start off by talking about Game Pass because, believe it or not, it's kind of some of the smallest news that hasn't really been talked about in regards to our bigger topics towards the end of the show. I wanted to start by talking about what everyone's kind of ranting and raving about. Game Pass now adding exclusives. Is Fonz back? Fonz, you back?
Not yet.
No?
Not yet.
All right. It's now adding all exclusives day one. Sea of Thieves comes out that same day. You'll have it in Game Pass. If you're a member for $10 a month, you will have this. Does this ruin exclusives, Cole? What's going on?
No, I think it just made them really accessible. There's probably a lot of people here that are on the fence about Sea of Thieves, right? Like they're pretty sure it's going to be fun,
Luca's on the fence.
Absolutely. That shit looks like trash, man. I have zero interest. But with this, I'm definitely going to try it out. It gives the game more value for me personally. And honestly, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Cole, but I just want to say anyone who's saying this is a bad thing is either a fanboy or completely delusional. All right? Like, how can this be a bad thing? This is so pro-consumer. It's crazy. Like, honestly, I was arguing with so many people. Luca, I don't know, Luca. Xbox, they're going to lose money. Why do you care about Xbox's money? How does that affect you? I don't understand. You're benefiting. Why do you care about the logistics of Xbox's bottom line? Doesn't make any sense at all. Luca, okay, think about this, Luca. It's going to be all digital. And, I like physical and stuff. Yeah, it's an option. Option. Do you know what an option is? Go look it up in the dictionary. You don't
Game Pass itself is all digital as well, so that doesn't really...
it's an option, and it's kind of also if you don't want it, then don't get it. And listen, music, there's still CDs. Movies, there's still DVDs. Stop worrying so much about something that is years off. Just focus on the good. And the good, it's good. This is good. And then I see a bunch of fucking, ponies. I'm actually using the word ponies. fucking PlayStation losers. Like, oh, Xbox games are worth $10 now. Like, shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Hey, Luca.
You sound stupid.
Luca,
They sound stupid. Okay.
Give Luca a thumbs up. Hit that like button on the video, guys. Shout out to almost 300 people joining us live already. We appreciate it. Good rant, Luca. That's
Luca, this just in. Xbox exclusives are now $10, and all PS4 exclusives are 6 times the price.
I mean, like literally though. And then people are like, "Oh, well, I mean, that just means that PlayStation exclusive." Okay, if you want to spend more money like an idiot, then go ahead, because you're an idiot. Okay, cool.
I don't understand it. Like honestly, like you have more options. You have more variety of games to choose from $10 a month. They announced today a 6-month pass for like $60, which is the price of a game. So you could try the service out for 6 months. You have access to all the back catalog 360 games, the Xbox One games, all the exclusives. How is this a bad thing for the consumer? Honestly,
oh my God. Let me give you one more thing, right? One more thing, D, right? Okay, and then people are like, oh, well, I have Hulu and Netflix and all these other streaming services. First of all, options, that is your choice to have them. Also, 2 games is $120. Are you guys stupid? Like, go ahead.
Well, Game Pass isn't a streaming service yet. So while they're looking at adding some of that functionality in the future, giving you that option, I doubt they'll take your ability to download games locally away. Doesn't make any sense, right?
But they make a few arguments. Like they're saying, oh, Microsoft's going to make less revenue. I don't know what kind of business school they went to, but Microsoft is going to actually make more revenue, because a lot of people that wouldn't have any interest in any of these games, they're going to be interested in it. And they're going to try it for $10 a month. They're going to be like, you know what? This is a good service. Look at all the value I get out of it. And they're going to continue to get that service. People are still going to buy their games in the store. People are still going to buy their games digitally. They're still going to go to the Microsoft store and Windows and buy their games. It's not going to change anything. It's going to add another layer of it's another way of getting games. It's an option.
Yeah, nothing's locked.
And more importantly, too, like it changes the way you think about games. Now, I've often said Microsoft are kind of late to the party, and a lot of the innovative ideas they try to pick up with something a little later on. Like instead of buying Twitch, like Amazon did, right? Amazon bought Twitch, right? Or maybe it was Google. I don't remember. They made Bing, or not fucking Bing, Mixer, right?
Mixing
which was Beam at the time. Instead of they came out with Zune after the iPad was out for a couple years or whatever. They're ahead of the curve here. This is one of those times where I can say Microsoft got to it first, and that's really good. Now, people saying this is a bad thing, I don't see this an option being a bad thing. If you're saying that it's worth $10, you're a moron. You'd rather get God of War for $10 than $60, right? And we know that this doesn't change the quality of games. We know that Game Pass has millions of subscribers already. So this is only going to boost that. I've got nothing but positive comments on my last video from people that don't even own an Xbox. They're like, holy I'm going to buy an Xbox right now. Seriously, it's kind of surprising. Go check out the comments. It's nuts just how positive people are over this. It's crazy. Chat, I'd like to know, anybody in the chat, can you think of a negative that will affect you personally? Not one that might hit Microsoft. Don't worry about their bottom line, because at the end of the day, you're the consumer. Yep. You should only care about what betters gaming for you. And if Microsoft have decided to do this, the numbers are adding up in some way. And I wouldn't worry about Microsoft's dollar. They know what they're doing, right? They're predicted to be the company that's first to hit $1 trillion in wealth in history. So they know what they're doing. And let me know what you guys think the negative for you personally could possibly be, because paying $10 a month and getting new games day one, I don't understand the negativity here. It's an option. It's pro-consumer as hell.
Yeah, I don't know how the heck you're going to get an answer on that one.
And some people too, they're complaining, oh, what if they take the game out? First of all, I don't see Microsoft taking their first-party games out of that. They own that game.
They haven't done that so far with any first-party game they put in there.
And also, too, the games that have been removed, they were like sports titles, and they've swapped them out with the newer versions of those games. So I don't understand why people are like, oh, they're going to take my games away. No, they're not. And you know what? If you're worried about that, you know what? It doesn't change anything for you. Go out and buy the physical copy, just like you would have bought before this service was.
Or the digital copy. If nothing's locked behind this service. And what would you guys pay per year to have if every game that came out was on a service like this, where you just paid a service, and as soon as Far Cry 5 came out, you're on Game Pass and you could download it as soon as
I think $10. I think $10 a month is pretty fair. or if you're gonna buy like 6 months or a year at a time, then they give you like a discount. Because my EA Access, there's no way I'm ever giving up that service. Like EA Access
it's
is
$5 a month, or what is it in Canada? It's $5 here.
Like, I pay like $30 for the year for that, man.
Yeah.
I pay if you pay $5 a month for it, but why do that? Pay $30 for the whole year.
It's got a fraction of the titles as well. It's got like it's not even close, and most of those
25 or something.
Older sports games, right? Like 15, 16, 17 FIFA, whereas Game Pass already has over 160 titles. And that's without these new ones hitting in March and most likely June and July with Crackdown State of Decay. Hey, Michael Chiro, he says, let's start this party in the super chat. Thank you so much, man. we got a bunch of pimps in the chat here. Thank you guys so much. I'm still not seeing that negative, guys. I'm still not seeing it.
Microsoft's
I can see where this is bad, and like I'm not trying to offend nobody. I try to not offend anybody, but I'm just going to keep it real here. I can see where this will piss off fanboys because you know what? They're not going to get to maybe tout as many numbers as they'd like to tout because some numbers might be lower in the sales, but you know what? Overall interaction with the game will be higher. Also, too, these games, they have DLC, they have different components that people are still gonna buy regardless. I think Microsoft's gonna pave the way that a lot of other companies are gonna follow suit, and you're gonna start seeing this from a lot of different companies. You think EA would continue to do this if it wasn't profitable for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what if Sea of Thieves was like teetering on, where you couldn't get into full lobbies to play the game? You never know. Like this game could be really good, or it could be kind of, you need people to have that opportunity to give a game a shot. And like some of the arguments we heard today were, people just jump on there and pay for 1 month, beat a game, and then leave. And it's like,
so what?
What is exactly? That has nothing to do. Listen, sorry to interrupt, but that has nothing to do with you. Okay, if someone wants to go on, pay for the service. Beat the game and then leave. Who cares? People do that with Netflix all the time.
But to be honest, look at the same person who would do that, who would just rent for 1 month just to beat one game they were on the fence about. That person would have probably just waited for a sale, borrowed it from a friend, waited till it was used at GameStop. That's what you do with a game you're unsure of.
Facts.
But if you have something like Game Pass, where you're like, for $10, I can play all these other games, 8 games in there you probably want to play anyway. For that $10 a month, and then try Sea of Thieves and give it a shot, or try Crackdown, because I know a lot of people are just like, Crackdown looks like trash. I cannot wait to play that game.
Hey, and let's not forget traditional renting. There's a place here next to campus that's just on fire. People always going in there. They come out in flames, right? So, this is a way to mitigate those people on the fence. Luke is going to try it now, and don't forget, every game has microtransactions now. Microsoft exclusives will not escape that. This is a way of, hey, if you like it, maybe you'll buy into some of those. And like they said, EA Access does a similar thing, but it's not nearly as good a deal. And they continue to do so. Punkadish, what's going on, brother? He says, let's get this. He says, the Game Pass news is the shit. Thank you so much in the super chat.
I want to say
shout out to almost 400 people watching us live. 400 people watching us live already. Thank you so much. Hit that like button if you can. Ah, man, Game Pass. This is good news, man. I don't care how people try to put it down. $10 exclusives.
I just honestly tell you, it racks my brain because I can't find the negative in it. Like, would you rather sell, let's say, 2 million copies of Sea of Thieves, or would you prefer 25 million people get the service for that month because they want to try that game out? What do you think is going to make more revenue?
Yeah, I mean, if people are really concerned about Microsoft's money. And you know what? I think this would be good for exclusives as well, because if people are actually trying the game and they see that engagement, maybe they're like, okay, well, we have the funds here to make a sequel for this game. That's what people want, right? Sequels to these Microsoft games, sequels to Rise and Sunset Overdrive. Like, there's no negative here. And, like Dealer was saying, there was no way that I was going to spend any sort of money on Sea of Thieves. Like $60, I was like, nah, I'm good on that, fam. Even if it was 30, I'd be like, nah, I'm good on that, fam. But 10? Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm giving this game a shot.
Yeah. Fonz, what's your thoughts on this? I know it's extremely pro-consumer. What do you think about this?
Yeah, sorry about the technical stuff, but here's the thing. Like I've been seeing mostly, honestly, 99% positivity out there for this, because it's hard to find any negative. And when you look at the service, some of the people that are being a little negative, though, you know, it's like they didn't see the writing on the wall, and this has been talked about for years. Just go back to what Phil Spencer said just April of this year. He was talking about how he wants a Netflix service for games. I mean, it was coming, and some people are upset, and I just don't get it. I mean, this is nothing but a good thing, because like Luca pointed out, some of these games that don't do too well, now they might have a chance. They might get sequels and stuff because they might get played, because there's some games out there like Hellblade. Hellblade was one of those games that I was looking at that I wasn't all excited for, but if it was on a service like this, I'll try it. And if I like it and they make a sequel, guess what? I'm playing it again, you know? And it's just, I don't see a bad thing about this product. It's awesome. It's Netflix for video games. Who doesn't want that?
Like I said earlier, Fonz, they're ahead of the curve on this one. This literally changes the industry. It changes how people perceive and play games, right?
Yeah.
This has not been done before.
It's completely different, and it does change the landscape of gaming from here on out. And what else it does is it changes it for everybody else. It changes it for Sony. It changes it for Nintendo, because they have to look at this with eyes open, because next year, next generation, who knows what could happen going in with a service like this, and the others don't have it.
Mm-hmm. And we don't want to spend all show on this. I do got some other things to point out about Game Pass, but I got to give a shout out to Under Zero in the super chat. He says, I'm just here to point out the dealer changed the smoke detector battery. Yes, you should receive credit. Thank you. Last week we had JKB from 3 Kilobytes and his cat in the background and my smoke detector battery going at it. They were arguing over the internet, so it was interesting.
And by the way,
do you guys think that somebody like Rare working on Sea of Thieves or Sumo Digital, and do you think they get any sort of incentive for being included, or is Microsoft kind of saying, hey, these are our games, we're going to do this, or it's just going to be the pilot thing with the exclusives? And you know,
well, they paid for those games developments, and they own the IPs, so they can do whatever they want with their own games. Irrelevant Natives just says, shut up and get Game Pass. Digital for the win. Thank you so much in the super chat. I gotta agree.
Really quick, I just want to point out something too. I've seen a lot of Twitter posts and videos about there's media bias because they're not talking about this. IGN, there's no video about this.
There's a video up.
There's videos, guys. Yeah. And Twitter was all a buzz all morning long about this stuff. Stop with the media bias, please.
Yeah, it's definitely, we can point to examples, but it's definitely not that extreme in my opinion. What's going on, Letha Papa? Thank you for joining us, brother. Game Pass, PS Now. You know what I noticed today? A lot of ads for PlayStation Now popped up in front of these Game Pass videos. I don't think that's a coincidence. I feel like personally, I'm insulted that Sony are trying to compare PS Now to Game Pass. Seriously, because PS Now compared to Game Pass, it's a non-contest in every single way. Xbox Game Pass is better. Mm-hmm. Play it locally, get the automatic performance benefits of Xbox One X and Xbox One to old and new games. No streaming, less latency. Price is very competitive, and you're just getting more relevant titles now with these exclusives at much higher resolutions than 720p, which is what PS Now is limited to. What do you think about that? PS Now just needs to revamp things and try again, huh?
PS Now needs to die, honestly. The way the service is now, I mean, streaming, not everybody has the same internet, and that alone is a cause for concern with that service. Because like I said, I've tried it before. I had issues with it. Some other people have yelled at me and said, no, there's no issues with it. Well, we have different internet providers, okay? So it could be different on your end. That is the biggest hurdle for them. And honestly, I just think it's dog shit. I don't like it.
Yeah, there are problems with it. So once again, Game Pass, don't be concerned with Microsoft's money. They're doing this because the numbers are adding up somewhere. And you know what? Even if they are losing money, which I really doubt they are, you got to give them props for trying something new. I like that. They got the money, the funds, the backing to do that. And because of that, this is what you should be concerned about. You benefit $10 a month, play unlimited games, all their newest shit. There's no downside to this. And for those saying their exclusives were worth $10, if you could play God of War, Spider-Man at $10, you probably would. So let's not be hypocrites here. I think it's great. It's great. Anyone else got any last opinions on this stuff before we move on?
How many games do they plan on building up that count? It's at 160 something right now. Are they going to kind of slowly build that up, or do they want to keep it in that ballpark.
Netflix started out really small, and Game Pass has gotten so much better in 6 months. 6 months.
I was under the impression that it was going to be this 100 game revolving door thing, and then when I went and looked it up today, I was surprised to see it, over.
It's almost double that already. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just don't know what their plan is. I didn't know if you guys were.
And let's not avoid the fact that I don't know if this has been mentioned, but in the future they could indeed get other publishers and developers involved in this situation. Hand them a chunk of cash, put their games in Game Pass. That could very well happen if this takes off.
They said they want to, Fonz, and also, I don't know, this hasn't been really talked about much, but every Play Anywhere title on there, if you just subscribe to Game Pass and one of those titles happens to be Play Anywhere, like Recore or Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay, you'll be able to download the Windows 10 PC version and play it if you want.
So I think they said they were looking into that, right?
Yeah, they haven't fully confirmed that, but from the interview that Phil did with The Verge, he kind of hinted at it, but it's just that he's not going to announce it today. In the future we'll hear more about that. He said he's been on public. He said this, that I've been on public record, saying that I want people to play their games that they have on the devices that they have. So he goes, at this time we don't have anything to say about the Play Anywhere titles. Today we're just announcing this. So read between the lines, that service will come.
Yeah. Even without it, it's a remarkable deal. And once again, don't worry about their money. Worry about what you're saving. You're the consumer. The brand's going to grow from this, just like Netflix. Didn't have much third-party stuff, or at least great third-party stuff at the beginning. Now look at them. Everyone wants to be there. They were the first ones to really do what they do effectively. Game Pass is the first to the market here. They had the potential to be Netflix of the future in terms of gaming. That's massive for Microsoft. A revolving door of $10 bills every single month for millions of people.
Yeah,
that's something that keeps giving back. And you know what? Is this what they got to do to make it even better? I'm for it.
You know what? One last thing, and it's not just the $10 a month. See, they can suck you in with games like Sea of Thieves, and then there is microtransactions within those types of games. And
I mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, revenue stream after revenue stream. It's a hustle upon hustle, and you can't hate on it.
No, I mean, a hustle's a strong word, because I don't mind being hustled if it's a great fucking deal. Basically paying for 2 games a year, but I'm getting almost 200, including every first-party game day one. Forza, I'm buying Horizon 4, State of Decay, and Crackdown. That's well over what I'm paying for a year Game Pass by itself. So, that's just a great deal. No matter how we want to break it down, it's a great deal. I'm really excited to see how this turns out for them, because they've taken this risk. I think it should be rewarded. So
I think it does hurt the retailer a little bit. The retailer is probably going to be a little bit pissed off, but in the long run, it benefits us consumers. And I'm a consumer. I fucking play games. I don't care about the back end of it. I care what I play as a consumer. And also too, when they're doing this, they're going to have a lot more money to invest in their first party games. I don't think people understand how much money this service is actually going to make. It's going to make a lot of money. A lot of people are just going to subscribe up to it more than that would have went out and got these games. You're going to see the numbers. I guarantee you by the holiday, you're going to see the numbers for Xbox Game Pass are going to be at least 2 to 3 times what they are now.
And one last thing, comparing it to PS Now, because you just can't avoid it. People are worried about games as a service. Yeah, this is games as a service. You're paying money every month, and you're getting games, a really good amount of games, and even new games now. But PlayStation Now did this years ago, games as a service. The only difference between this and PlayStation Now is this is better in every single way. Whereas PlayStation Now is taking a while to get PS4 games on the PC now and on their streaming services. This is local. As I've stated before, it's just better in every way. So if you're worried about games as a service and where Microsoft's going, Sony tried this years ago. They just didn't do it nearly as well. So props to Microsoft. This is good. Nintendo Labia or Labo. We want to talk about that real quick. We've talked about Game Pass for 5 years already. This show. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with us. Shout out to almost 500 people watching us live. Hit that like button if you can.
Let me open up this Nintendo Labo thing. I checked yesterday. Fonz, our Fonz here, he did an excellent video, and there's a lot of people watching this podcast right now, and I don't know how many views you got, Fonz, but I would really ask all of you guys to go watch Fonz's video.
It's an awesome video.
Yes, incredible. If you don't know what to think about this before we talk about it on the subject, after this podcast, you guys need to go watch Fonz's video on it. And Dealer, I'll give you back your mic.
Yeah, Fonz did a good video
really
about it, and he's got good points. If you don't know, Nintendo Labo is the cardboard construction set for the Switch. It has some Twine and some lesser expensive software, like some fishing games and some music games. And basically, they're selling you this. Then you assemble it yourself. You use your Switch to take advantage of it, but it does cost $70 and $80, and each kit costs 70, 80 separately. My problem isn't with who it's for or how much imagination it sparks in people or young kids particularly. My problem is the fact that it is so expensive and the durability. I'm concerned with that. I think kids will crush this thing. But Fonz, I mean, you're the one here that's really for this thing for the most part. Go ahead and give us a quick rundown because we spent 20-something minutes on Game Pass alone. We're not going to spend too much time on this.
Well, the one thing I would say is that the price point and the durability are things to factor. Of course, I definitely see that argument because at the end of the day, it is cardboard. But there are, it's case by case basis. There are some kids that will destroy it, some kids that won't. I have a 9-year-old daughter. If I had a Switch, she would want this, and she would do very well with it. She wouldn't destroy it. She doesn't have club hands, and she's not just a destructive little girl. But she would do great with it. And she's liked the product when I showed it to her. And I just look at this product as something that is promoting creativity and imagination and stuff. And it's dealing with stuff in the physical realm. And they get to actually color it, make it their own, put stickers on it. And then they have that interactive software, which is really incredible at times with the piano and everything, each key being hit and the Joy-Con actually knowing which key is being hit. It's just an amazing little tech thing that they got going on with it.
It's different.
And of course, when kids are playing with this cardboard that many adults are just focusing on, they're not looking at it as cardboard when they're playing with it. They're looking at it as a toy. They're looking at it, in their minds, they're imagining themselves playing a real piano. It's kids. That's what we have to look at this product about. It's for kids. It's not for adults,
Yeah.
And I think it's great in that respect. But yeah, the price point, I can understand that argument.
Gotcha. Luca, real quick, I want to hear from you on this, and then I know what everyone else pretty much thinks. We've all said this, but Luca, how do you stand on this?
I think Nintendo's full of shit. I think that this is the most ridiculous thing that they've ever done. Fonz, you make a good point saying that this is for children. I would argue that literally every single Nintendo product is for children, yet you still see grown men getting these products. And I saw grown men posting about getting this cardboard for themselves. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, fam. I don't have any kids, so I guess I can't comment on that aspect. I can't imagine getting this for my child. If I had any children, I'd want to get them something more durable, I guess you could say, something like Legos or any of those other toys that kids like.
Something they can choke on, right?
Exactly, something they can choke on. It's not something they can break easily. I think if this was anyone but Nintendo, I think if this was Microsoft or Sony, this would be getting a lot more backlash than it is. I think people give Nintendo passes for things that really they should not get passes for. And I'm 100% not okay with them charging $70 for this contraption. Doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm okay with the pass idea. You know why? Because Nintendo and Microsoft couldn't get away with this because they don't cater to kids like Nintendo does, right, and have for many, many years. And I think that's the number one reason why they couldn't. It's not about the product itself. It's about the consoles. It's about what they've been known for. And Nintendo's been known to put stuff like Amiibos and stuff out.
Yeah, everyone check your audio. We got a very light echo. You might not be able to hear it live, but it is definitely here.
Yeah.
One of the things that kind of killed my doubt, I was very quick to criticize this Nintendo Labo idea, or Labo, whatever you want to call it. But I was thinking about how I bought my son the Lego Dimensions thing, and I thought, that's kind of dumb. You got to put the thing together. But when I sat down with him, and the screen had the little instructions, and you push A to advance, and we were sitting there on the floor in front of my TV putting this DeLorean together for Back to the Future, and then you put it on the stand and it came in that moment was better than just playing a regular Lego game. And so that's kind of like where I see where Fonz is coming from in that video. It turned me from a critic to okay, I can understand where they're going with this. And yeah, the price is a little high.
A little?
And but those the Lego Dimensions stuff's pretty expensive too. You know, it's $15 for the little Lego pieces, and it comes with a mini world.
What are the little Lego pieces made out of? I'm just curious. Code.
They're made of plastic, injected molded plastic.
Oh, okay, I'm just wondering.
Polyvinyl chloride.
Just wondering,
But you can't color on them like you can with.
Hey, Vogel's King, thank you so much for sharing it on Twitter. I need to share it on Twitter. Good idea. As we move on out of this piece of shit Nintendo topic to something actually entertaining. So it is what it is, guys. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll sell, but at the end of the day, everyone likes what they like, and let's get the fuck away from this topic. So, hey, I just want to point out real quick, Digital Foundry have yet to test Project Cars 2 or retest rather Project Cars 2 or Red Out. I almost did it again. So
that's
hey,
true.
if you guys want to see those games tested, they said they were supposed to do that a long time ago after they got threatened with legal action. Still haven't done it weeks later. Maybe
what about those
where they've said, "Oh, we'll revisit this," but they
said they're retesting the game on Monday. So, and that was
what about
the weekend after? That was just a few days after they got threatened. So, that's
what about them counting pixels and pixels and frame rates on like some of these game trailers for games that aren't out yet, like E3 stuff? Are they still doing
in a while? Have they?
No, I haven't seen them count like what they think God of War is running or anything like that.
That's a good point. Yeah, I remember they slammed Halo in the beta and the footage at E3, and we haven't seen anything from any of the Sony sides, but maybe they backed off of that because they got hammered for it. God of War, though, looks absolutely phenomenal. Fonz, do you have those questions ready? Or did you have enough time?
I've got the questions ready, but most of them are asking about Game Pass, man. It's all Game Pass.
Yeah, we can.
Oh, crap, you better.
Yeah, if you guys see a question in the RDX live show question, I put it up every single week before the show, and you kind of browse through them, make sure you're not asking the same question over and over, so we can kind of get more varying questions.
I got a question here from Crazy Gamer 1983. He wants to know, Dealer, hi, you think VR will be a success on the Xbox platform, and will third-party headsets work? As I have Oculus Rift, hoping this can be used in the future. Well, aren't they using third-party, Dealer?
Yeah, they're not. Well, they do have this mixed reality stuff, but yeah, that's Microsoft's plan. They're going to let the third party invest all the money and just give them the option to run it on the X.
And if it fails, they can back out. They can swing out of VR. If it's not doing well on console instead of Microsoft doing it. But they talked about supporting either Oculus or Vive for the Scorpio a long time ago. Was it Oculus?
Yeah, they have a deal with the Oculus in place. So Oculus is definitely going to support it. You can use it now. I put my Oculus on my Xbox One now. There's an app, and I can stream my games to it like on a big 100-foot screen. So
through an application.
And that's what I think is brilliant that Microsoft is doing. Let third party handle the hardware. That's an awesome idea.
Kratos had a question. He was wanting to know if getting God of War or whatever. It's a long question, but basically you're getting God of War and stuff like, yeah, of course I am. So God of War, Spider-Man, that stuff looks interesting. Give me a reason to boot the Pro up. That's coming out in April 20th, 2018. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, God of War looks fire.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Coming out April 20th, 2018. That's kind of a big deal. So that'll be, the first time I boot the Pro in quite a while.
I was just watching the God of War trailer for today on TV before we started up the podcast. I was just looking at all the detail of Kratos' arms and just his beard. Like he's got gray hairs mixed in his beard. Like, holy crap. It's like, where are these games? Like, I want something like that on Xbox.
I know.
It's like, holy crap. Like, talk about the devils and the details with a game like that. What a great, talented
it took him like 5 years to make it, and it paid off, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Time is everything.
Luke, I gotta say to you, the boy is fine. Like, sorry, that was a pretty crappy voice, but
God. Yes, I was not annoyed by the child's voice in this trailer. I actually thought it was good. I thought the entire trailer was good. I really admire them for taking that risk and changing things up so drastically. And you can tell from spoiler alert if you haven't watched the trailer yet, but this is the same Kratos. It's just kind of different, and I can't wait to see how he got in this.
This is Kratos, like
exact
under
position.
Unbearable credit card debt. Kratos.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of like if people saw the end of Dexter, how he went to a spoiler alert and went into the woods and became a lumberjack. It's kind of like that.
Oh my God, you really did just ruin the whole show.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not as cranky. Hopefully he's not as cranky as Luke Skywalker in the last movie.
He's not sucking on some alien. Oh, never mind. All right.
So,
no. Hey, I wanted to talk about RBI 2018. Formerly just kind of like a little baseball game that Xbox has no baseball games, right?
Nope.
Phil Spencer says that it's really not that profitable to bring something like that to market. You're pretty much going to break even if you get lucky every time. But MLB are actually investing. That echoes back. Just so probably D-Batch knows. The MLB are investing in RBI baseball. So I guess they're bringing an official roster and everything. And that's this year. So
is it going to be a sim-like baseball game, or is it more like the old throwback to like the arcadey baseball?
I have no clue, but I'd imagine if MLB are getting involved, it's probably a little more realistic, right? Maybe. I have no clue. I honestly just figured a few people would care. Most people probably don't care, but
I think it's a big deal. It's better to have more than one show in town, right? And the thing I don't like about Sony, I like Sony's game. I usually get it every year, but to be honest with you, they shut their servers off after a year. As soon as a new game comes out, they shut off the old server, which is malarkey. I think
that was not a word made for you. It really wasn't.
I think that's malarkey. Hey, Matthew Quall, Snakes in the super chat, buddy. So just stopping by to say hi and good night. Thank you. We appreciate it. And we appreciate everybody stops by. Almost 500 people right now. Hit that like button if you can, guys. It really helps the show. State of Decay 2, they said that it's not going to have loot boxes. So maybe it'll have loot bags instead. What do you guys think it'll have?
Loot bags. I don't know. Dealer, you're the expert on State of Decay. You just run with this one.
That's odd to me. That's really odd because it seemed like that game would be tailor-made for loot boxes and stuff. So I'm pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, what do you think in the chat? State of Decay 2. Why wouldn't they have loot boxes? What do you think they're replacing that with? If anything, we've seen them not really mess around with that dynamic before, but
supply drops like what they did in what was that other zombie game?
Yeah.
What was that game called? Oh,
Dying Light.
Yeah, Dying Light. How they had the supply drops. You had to run in supply drops. Do something. It
was so fun. I need to make Dealer play that some more. He's just not a big fan.
I think gamers, because of the whole debacle with EA Sports and with UFC and with, of course, Star Wars before it, I think gamers are soured on the loot boxes. So I think a lot of emphasis is taken away from it now, and a lot of companies are rethinking it. So that's probably why it's moved out of that game.
Yeah. Either way, I mean, State of Decay 2 is going to be fire. Rumored to come out June 29th. We covered that last week on RDX. Going to be a lot of fun. Hey, Colt, what's going on with this PC price increase? What's going on? I made a tweet the other day. I got a lot of traction, a lot of people interested in what's going on with these 1070s, 1080s now. What's going on?
I am super grateful that Fonz just donated the chat.
Fonz in the super chat. Fonz is a fraud. That's true.
I'm super glad I bought my 1070 when I did. I got it at the very end of 2016 or early 2017. I can't remember. Yeah, it's nearly doubled in price. It just hit NVIDIA. AMD was getting hammered a few months ago with the price increase. Yeah, now it's hitting CPUs and RAM. Mostly RAM, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
RAM cost is just related to the material, I think. But AMD mid-range GPUs started getting hit first, and then the 1060 went up $40-50, and now 1070 is as high as $700 or more some places, and 1080 and Ti are just insane. So I'm glad I got my 1080 when it was around. Definitely not inflated like that.
Bigger 64s are going for like $2,000.
Holy smokes!
It was already overpriced. Fuck.
A couple of months ago, PC World did that Xbox One X like build, and they got it around $700, and they were mostly unaffected by the dynamiting price hike with that build. They said it only increased it about $50 or $60, but now it is. If you've got these PC guys who want to compete against the Xbox and the X and the Pro with a PC build, forget about it. They're looking at $2,000 builds or $1,500 builds. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Minimum 1,000 in most cases. For
sure. A lot of them are gonna use the Xbox One X as a stopgap. Let's be honest. For $500, at least you can get some gaming going on. Otherwise,
they hold them over.
Like $2,000 building a rig. Like, not everyone's got that money.
Well, it's crazy. Like I couldn't, I was off the console for over a year, like almost 2 years straight. And I was just getting back on this X and just kind of getting back into all my games I owned. And I'm having so much fun. It's really amazing how much fun you can have on a $500 console. Really is really
don't
value.
say that. Don't say that. Somebody will say you said that 480 and the 1080 is the same again. Don't say that shit. You can't be doing none of that. So, it is what it is. Xbox One X, people were failing to compete with that price for performance ratio before. It was coming around $600 without mouse and keyboard and a copy of Windows from a site. Now it's even more so. So, it's even more compelling than it used to be.
It'll burst though. It'll be fine. Everybody will be, but he has a good plan. Stop. If you really wanted to build that PC and now you're kind of in a jam, you can go buy a base console and game for a little while, or just keep what you have and not upgrade yet.
Yeah. But bottom line, play what you like. Who cares, right? Just play what you like, enjoy what you like. It's not a big deal.
No. Worry about what other people do. That's
yeah, man.
Best thing to do.
No, that's the rule of YouTube. Minecraft, 74 million monthly active users, Fonz. Luca, this is your favorite game. What do you think?
Oh, that's nice.
74 million, Luca.
That's great.
Is Minecraft going to be on?
High number, man.
Will that be on Game Pass?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Why
isn't it on Game Pass?
I feel like that would be a good game for Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. That's just an obscenely high. We forget because we've all run through the Minecraft phase 5 or 6 years ago if we had one at all. And I'm not saying people in the chat don't still play it. Of course they do, but myself,
I'm
I
sure
forget
Nuke
how many
still
people
plays it.
Probably, yeah. You just forget how popular that game is, right? Almost 75 million people playing that game every month. That is crazy. PUBG is at like 3-4 million every month or something.
That's like Grand Theft Auto numbers, man.
It's nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. Also, for those that we just hit 500 people watching live. Huge shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. Hit that like button if you can. Metal Gear Survive open beta. Anybody try this?
Nope.
Man,
no.
That was such a horrible topic. D yawned.
That was beyond and farted at the same time.
Oh, you're just like Luca then, huh? Okay, so the beta is up now. It's the first non-Metal Gear game from basically it's the first Metal Gear game without Kojima, and it's always online. Just so you know, the campaign's about 15 to 20 hours. 20 hours probably stretch, and it will have microtransactions. So always online, 15-hour campaign. I don't know. I'm mixed on this one, guys. What do you think in the chat? I can't really figure it out. I can't decide what's going on in this game. It seems very diverse, and what the hell's even happening?
The combat
looks like a big expansion.
Yeah, the combat in that game, it's solid, but it's kind of stilted for me, kind of stiff. And I put a lot of time into Phantom Pain, and then I'm like, nah, oh gosh, I got the story was so out there for my personality. I just couldn't stick with it.
Yeah, I was in the same boat. That's why I didn't even try this game. And
also, too, graphically, I was like, what is this?
Well, it was Open World 60, which never really happens on these base consoles, right?
I don't know. It really does nothing for me, and not like it did before. But I can imagine for the hardcore with Kojima gone, like who wants to play that game?
Shinsaya says it's not Metal Gear. So you've got Metal Gear fans, basically saying I refuse to call this Metal Gear, even though it's technically called Metal Gear Survive. I get that. It doesn't look like Metal Gear to me. It looked like
can Metal Gear survive?
Can Metal Gear survive is the question. I wasn't impressed, but that's just me. Any other final thoughts on Metal Gear Survive? Fonz, what did you think about this?
I ain't got nothing to say on it. I do have a question here, though, that I want to say here, because it's from Sirtaz247. He said, if Lawbreakers was on Game Pass, would it have more than 11 players?
Oh, poor Cliffy.
Gosh, can you imagine? Oh, my gosh.
You know what? Now Cliffy's going to crawl to Phil and be like, will you take this game? He's like, we'll throw it into Game Pass, and we'll make you a deal there. But, yeah.
That's exactly the type of stuff that can happen here with Game Pass. I mean, you could put games on there that wouldn't normally sell to a lot of people, but they'd get some traction on Game Pass.
I'll go on record and say if Lawbreakers is in Game Pass, it'd have its highest numbers ever.
For sure.
Which is over 3,000 at once. So, it's not saying much, but you know what I'm saying.
I agree.
It would definitely be much more successful than it ever was. That's for sure. So, I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Game Pass, Lawbreakers, would you play it?
I think
I still wouldn't play it, to be honest with you, because it looks like a Overwatch, a poor man's.
Did you
Overwatch.
try it, D?
A poor man's Overwatch.
Did you try it?
So a homeless man's Overwatch.
It didn't interest me, to be honest with you. It just didn't interest me.
I've said a million times. I tried it for a few hours and I just didn't have fun, so I uninstalled it. So.
Yeah, most people in the chat are like, nah, I wouldn't try it. You know, who can blame you? 11 people playing it last week at once on PC, so that's really bad. That was less than Shower with Your Dad 2 and Genital Jousting. So,
oh my god!
So you guys know those are real games on Steam, and you know, it really lost to those games. Just keep that in mind. So.
Yo. I thought it was a joke. I really did. I thought it was like some type of parody. I was like, what the hell is a game?
my friend actually looked it up. Yeah, it was great. It's so great.
Gosh. First of all, genitals should never be jousting against each other. Straight up. Okay? Oh my god, I say about that.
Well, not according to Noof. I bet Noof would love genital jousting. I gotta give a shout out to Noof for hitting up the chat, man. Thank you so much. And all day says nothing but trash. I'm nothing but trash. Yeah, that's true. It's nothing but trash.
Hey, all day.
Shinsaya, thank you so much in the super chat, brother. Thank you. I'm guessing you're joining us from the UK. We appreciate it, man. Xbox, another update. I'm gonna find out who's echoing to shank them. By the way, somebody's echoing. Xbox, another update. You've got more inactivity options. So now instead of being gone for an hour and having it shut off automatically, you can have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 hour shutoffs. Just something small, but they're adding it, and that's supposed to be coming soon to those not in preview. Just so you know, we cover everything here, and that's something small, but it's happening. Activision's CEO leaves after 8 years. Eric Hirschberg. This is kind of big. 8 years at the helm of ripping gamers off and not producing hardly any new IPs. What do you guys think about this?
Great. Awesome.
I think it's good for gamers. We're probably going to get some new franchises, some new ideas, some reboots, some fresh things. It's always good to shake it up. And when it happens from the top like that, it's bound to change the company, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was blown away by how quickly people dropped Destiny 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, is he one of those guys that was pushing around Bungie and kind of made them into what they are now? I mean,
Bungie made themselves what they are. Let's just be
real.
Real.
I don't know. I'm on the side that they kind of you end up being who you hang out with a little too much. They're spending all that time with Activision and kind of had to do their bidding. It seems like. I mean,
I think it was 50-50 because Bungie's gotten pretty damn lazy.
Facts.
And apparently they don't listen to the community at all. Activision.
They absolutely do not. Like, I don't understand how every time they try to fix something in Destiny 2, they just make it worse. It doesn't make any sense. Even I've dropped it. Man, they messed up so badly.
Yeah.
10-year game too. That sucks.
And as I've said, Activision don't really produce much. They've got Call of Duty. They've been relying on it for over 10 years now. They got Blizzard, which was an acquisition they made. So they bought Blizzard. That's been saving their ass. And other than Call of Duty, now they put out Destiny back in 2014. They finally started another franchise that was something. But other than that, Activision at its core hasn't done shit in so long. It's ridiculous. They'll release a port from the 360 for $60, but that's about it.
Did Activision publish the Guitar Hero series? Because they were coming out with a new game every year until people couldn't stand.
Oh yeah, they burnt that into the fucking ground too. So yeah,
I would say bring back Pitfall, Activision. Bring back Pitfall.
That would
bring back something new.
We already did. It's called Uncharted 4. The real Pitfall game, yeah.
Now the question is, does he know something we don't know? Why is he leaving? Does he know that things are going to take a big spot? These executives, they'll cash out in some stocks and leave sometimes before something fucked up happens. Does he know something that we don't know? Maybe he knows that on the horizon they've got very little, or quality control's way down, or he saw the plunge after Destiny 2 activity, kind of user activity went down. I don't know. Does he know something that maybe we don't know? Probably not. Maybe he just got bored. I hate Call of Duty. I'm out.
Nah.
Yeah, I think
it'll make some Titanfall.
I think it could be, one of the things is Destiny. Destiny is not doing so well, so he's probably maybe he's embarrassed by it. I don't know. Who knows?
Why does everybody hate Destiny 2 so much?
Did you play it?
The end game is dog shit.
I remember you guys told me about, that's kind of iffy. So I haven't opened it. I got it from Costco, so I can easily bring it back.
Yeah, do it.
No, I haven't played it.
He said, "Yeah, do it."
I feel like Fonz would have a lot more to say about it since he was invested in Destiny since the first one, and I just hopped on the Destiny train for Destiny 2.
But you played a lot. You played.
Yo, yeah, 8 days.
You know what? It would take forever to go through all the problems with Destiny 2.
It's pretty bad.
Basically, the end game is fucked for the hardcore. They don't listen to their community, and they lost 75% of their player base in a few months as a result. So, that's just all there's to it. Age of Empires Definitive Edition comes out February 20th, which is already passed, apparently. So I am going back to the future now. I forget because I write these topics down throughout the week now. It's just so much easier. And I guess that's out. So go check it out. We also got Sony third parties relations boss leaving as well. So the guy setting up all these third party marketing deals, I guess he's gone. He's leaving. So
Microsoft cut a check.
Cut a check. Yeah, right. Maybe they could though get someone in there to capture some deals, get some advertising, advertise some PlayStation Now. What do you think, D?
I don't know, man. They need some help with the advertising. But now that Phil has some of his responsibilities down to this to Mr. Booty, I think the future is bright. I think things are going to start to turn around. Like the last 2 weeks alone, I've heard so much Xbox news, more so than I've heard like in the last 6, 7, 8 months. So I think they're on the right path now. When you get yourself into a hole, you got to dig yourself out. It takes time. And if you know how you got into that hole, you should make the precautions never to get back in that hole again. And I don't think Microsoft will. I think they know what they did wrong, and I think they're going to be a better company for it.
Yeah, I've said this several times too. It's good what happened in 2013, honestly, because policies, pro-consumer choices, so much stuff has changed with Microsoft, and that's just it benefited us all in the end. Fable 4, Luca, are you a fan of the Fable games?
Never played them, but I would be interested in any reboot because I like RPG games.
Yeah, and they've got stiff competition with Witcher and Cyberpunk and all that stuff out there coming out and stuff. But basically, Playground Games, the guys behind Forza Horizon 3, I know this is a little of an older topic, but we haven't got to talk about this on the show, are apparently working on this, whereas before we were told that Phil passed on an open world game from Playground. Apparently that was wrong. That they're working on Fable 4, and they say they're developing it for the Xbox One X, and they'll scale it down for the S and the base console. I don't know. What kind of things are you looking for in Fable?
Meaningful side quest.
It has to be different from Fable 3. Fable 3 didn't do very well. It scored kind of low, and it wasn't as great as the first two. I played a lot of the second one. It's kind of geared. It sort of seems like it's for a younger audience, but it has some more adult themes in there a little bit. But
could you have kids and stuff?
You get married and you could you could fart.
You could import import all your real life STDs into the game.
No, it's just kind of, it's like a classic RPG. It's on Game Pass. 1 and 2 are on Game Pass, and 3 actually, all of them.
You get that choice between good and evil as well, which is really what sets that game apart from a lot of other games.
Is it like a black and white sort of thing, like Paragon and Renegade, or is it more in depth?
Honestly, I'd say it's kind of more in depth because there's certain things you could do in there. It's kind of odd because like you can punch a baby in the face and then everybody would be like, upset with you. But then the minute you do something good, the village for you, and it's funny. But,
it's sort of like the Witcher, like you have melee combat and you also have spells, and so you kind of like you have to kind of work with those while you're in combat, and the combat was pretty fun. I probably only put about 20 some hours into it on the 360 on Fable 2.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Playground, their pedigree isn't really fully developed, as they're a team developed and devised from a bunch of racing game studios that kind of went under before they assembled and came together to develop Horizon, who they did in collaboration with Turn 10. Turn 10 send them all the cars and the mods, and they really are largely in charge of the world and the conceptual like mission structure and stuff like that. The Hot Wheels stuff they did, really good stuff. But this will be their first game from the ground up on the Xbox, and you know what? I'm all for it. They're the highest rated exclusive on Xbox, regardless of if they got the RPG pedigree, these guys can come out, and make whatever. Like who was it? Gorilla in Killzone. They came out and did Horizon Zero Dawn. A lot of people thought that was a great game. It was a decent first attempt, in my opinion. And I'd like to see what Playground do, man. They've got, some talent there. So at the end of the day, it's a new game. That's good. They also say that Forza Horizon 3 can actually hit 60 frames per second on the Xbox One X. They just chose to go the 4K route. I'm not buying it personally. Obviously, I'm not a developer, but I've seen how demanding this thing was on PC, and I don't think if it can do it, I don't think it would be stable. And I think, if it could do it, they would have given us that option. They know that would have been the game changer with Horizon rather than the resolution. They could have did a very similar resolution and just because they had so much overhead, they did 4XAA and 4K. Absolutely not needed at all. So they had several frames left over after they hit 30, and they slapped it into resolution or AA and shadow resolution, all this stuff. They could have easily did something very close to 4K at 60 frames per second.
Why do AA at all with a 4K title?
Because they have GPU overhead left over.
Yeah, it depends on the textures too. If they're using lower quality texture, then the aliasing helps as well.
I've taken
what you were saying there. I do actually think the game. I think they could run that game maybe 4K, high, medium, hybrid, 60 frames on the console. I think
on an RX 480, bro. I showed this on the channel. Some of you guys might remember in the chat. I had an RX 480 at the time at 5.9. What was it? 5.93 teraflops, 1288 core clock, and I was running Horizon 3 at 4K Ultra with no anti-aliasing at up to 55 frames per second.
Yeah.
So, that's with no AA, but ultra shadows and all. They could have easily bumped some of that down and done close to 4K 60 or even 4K 60 with a few lower settings.
And this they could also be hinting at Forza Horizon 4 too.
That's what I was thinking.
They could be hinting towards that there might be a.
Well, let us know in the chat too. If you want 60 frames over 4K, put a 1. If you just want 4K and no 60 frames option, put a 2. Because, we've already got, look, Fonz has got 17 ones already. So, I think it's common sense. If it's possible, do it. And that goes for Horizon 4. Do it. It's not that big of a deal. Let it happen.
I've taken some screenshots in that game this past couple of weeks that, in my opinion, are probably the best looking racing images of any racing game I've ever seen. GT Sport has this really cool photo overlay where they take a real photo and they place your in-game car over it, and those are really cool looking. But I've seen people take pictures at any moment during a race or during a gameplay or just driving around that look like the best car picture I've ever seen. The game is beautiful.
Look how many ones we got. We got some 2s for some reason. I'd like to know from somebody with a 2, how come you would not like an option to do 60 frames and 4K 30, right? What's wrong with an option? Because that just satisfies everybody. And it's pretty easy to do.
A trick question. All Day Digital said 187.
So yeah, I'm not so sure I'm buying the 60 frames thing on the X, or they would have probably done it. But hey, it is what it is. Halo 6, Frank O'Connor had to come out and smash some rumors recently. Basically, people were saying they're reassessing the game with all these microtransaction ideas and all this stuff. And he's like, first off, Microsoft aren't in charge of our next game. 343 is, and we're not reassessing anything with our next game. We know it's Halo. And, basically just coming out and curb stomping, as Frank always does. They basically are sticking to the rec system. To my knowledge and to my experience, it is not pay to win in any way. Nobody here really has much experience with that. Colt, you play Halo 5 more than I do, probably.
Yeah, Halo Warzone Firefight is still really fun every time I jump in there. Yeah, the rec system, it works. It's just you earn stuff and you play what you earn. It works. No, don't mess it up. It doesn't sound like they will.
Hey, Colt, how many times you play that single player campaign?
Once.
I didn't like the single player campaign.
Yep. Yeah. And we've run that into the ground too. So I'm really hoping the next one's a little better. So before we get into the next topic, I'd like to give a shout out to 500 people watching us live. Hit that like button if you can, guys. We appreciate it. PlayStation 4 hacked. They're running homebrews. They're running they modded the system in a way, didn't they? Yeah. Cole, you know something a little about that, right?
Basically, some modders are doing what the engineers at PS4 aren't doing. They're making PlayStation 2 games playable on system.
So you're saying they basically enabled free backwards compatibility on PlayStation?
Yep. Yeah,
it's not possible.
Interesting.
But nobody's
they wouldn't have PlayStation now.
Nobody's really figured out how to get that cell architecture of the PS3 games to run on the PS4 system. I mean, that's must be a real big mess if nobody's been able to figure that out. That's why PS Now exists, really, because that cell architecture.
That's it was a gift and a curse. It was ahead of its time, but you know what? It was just a pain in the ass. The code for developers were like, nah, screw it. It was just unnecessarily tough.
Hey, what's going on, Thomas Hand? If I'm shit, go ahead and open your mouth, buddy. Go ahead and do that. Punk ass little bitch.
I can't believe these people.
We always we have a very small amount of trolls and stuff. We got like one or two fuck faces in the chat occasionally. But I think these people should know by now not to fuck with me. I'll destroy you. So, hey, that's good news.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, here's some good news. Microsoft supposedly, and this is a rumor, announcing studio acquisitions here soon. So, if keep in mind, we didn't know what they had with Xbox One. They announced Black Tusk and all these other studios they had when they announced the Xbox One. They've had these studios for a while before then. Remember Shanghai Heist? They already had this demo ready to show off and all this stuff. Turns out they're buying more stuff. They may announce some of that soon. Any thoughts on this, Fonz? What would you like to see from a studio they're buying? Oh, God, he got knocked out by Daniel Cormier again.
He took one too many pills. You're going to have to refresh me on that.
Oh, shit. Luca, what would you like to see them acquire? She got knocked out too. Damn.
Sideline. Ask your question again. Reset us.
I said it earlier in the week. I would like them to buy Crytek. Now, I know a lot of people aren't fans of all of their games, but the technology and the engineers that they have over there, I think they're brilliant. And of course, with the talent that Microsoft has with all their studios, with that engine, I think they could make some great single player game experiences.
Yeah, they just need better writers for that, right?
Yeah, they just need better writers and better people designing the gameplay. But their engines are just phenomenal.
Yes, the games are very, very beautiful.
Hey, Rise had a pretty good story. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, Rise. I enjoyed Rise. The downfall with Rise though was once again the gameplay. It was really repetitive, right? So.
Oh shit, Rise! You came back as a vengeful spirit in Rise, a fucking Centaurian revenge monster, basically, and that was a really cool concept. A lot of people don't even know. I told Colt about it. He's like, "That was in Rise." I said, "Yeah, man. Yeah. Good story.
Graphically, it's still if you play that game today, you're like, "Holy shit!" Graphically, it still holds up.
Man, it didn't get enhanced either.
No.
And that kind of leads into Phil Spencer's comments. He said that he is well aware of the meme of Xbox games and all this stuff. At the same time, I pointed out on Salty's podcast the other day that Microsoft and Sony had a very similar amount of first-party games last year. It was really third-party that propped them up. I think Sony had 4 and Microsoft had 3 if you didn't want to count Cuphead. We know that's a permanent exclusive, but they don't own them. This year, things are different. Already we know that we're getting 3 in the first half alone. So you're getting Horizon 4 at the very least. You'll have 4 big games, and with the Game Pass news, it's like, man, that's just such a big thing. Now, just thinking about it, even though we just talked about it for 20 minutes, that's just such a massive thing.
Yeah, there's like 10 or 12 exclusives coming for Xbox, that we know about ahead of E3. So it's good, really good.
Luca, what do you think about Phil Spencer's comments? You think anything at all? You sleeping? Where you at?
I'm sorry, I'm dealing with this fucking troll in the chat.
All day, leave her alone.
Not all day.
To me, that says that he's fired up. The
fucking loser who said you're full of shit. He said I was full of shit too, and I'm like, what do you mean? Where? I mean,
where? Don't ask people where. Link
me. Show me where I'm full. Listen. I already know I'm gonna get a lot of hate in the comment section. I was going to say something.
Not everybody, Luca. There's a few bad apples, and it's important to remember that. Come on.
These guys are beta males. Yes, you're beta males. You're intimidated by me. It sucks to suck. Get over it, losers. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be on the show. You're irrelevant trash. I don't know the panel. You're not. Get over it. Let it go. He's not going to kick me off.
Hey, let me be the diplomatic motherfucker here, okay? We got to think that there's a lot of people watching that might think you're talking to them. If you don't, she's not. If you're not one of those assholes that's saying fuck Luca for no reason, she's not talking to you.
Yeah. I'm definitely talking.
She appreciates you guys showing up.
I'm definitely talking. I'm talking about the trolls. I'm talking about the people who hate me for no reason. People are like, "Oh, I wish Luca was on the show." Just stop watching. No one cares if you're not watching, okay? But everyone else who supports me, because I get a lot of support, I get a lot of love in the chat, and I get a lot of love on Twitter, and I get a lot of love in the comment section. You guys are awesome. You're amazing. I appreciate you. But to everyone else, all y'all can suck a dick. That's all I got to say.
Damn.
Shit.
So I'm sorry. So what was the question?
We got a lot of Lucaholics here.
The Phil Spencer with the
He's aware of the meme.
The memes?
What kind of studio would you like to acquire?
I'd like them to get Obsidian. They did Fallout New Vegas. I think they could do a lot of things.
I agree. Nice.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
That is a great pick, Luca. Awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She comes out of like fire, fuming rage and like blood all over her fists and goes, "Acquire Obsidian," and like spot on. You're a great. Oh my! I'm
gonna tell you something about me you might not know, Joe Rogan. I smoke rocks. Obsidian, Crytek. I mean, that building's on fire right now. Microsoft swoop them up, and you never know. They might have passed them some money. So, Luca, don't buy into the few trolls. It's not a big deal. Don't acknowledge those people like that. It's not even worth it. You got more supporters than haters, and that's how it works. So, once again, if you guys are checking out the show, hit that like button. We appreciate it. Show some love. I show this bitch on Twitter as we go into Matt Booty. We know you guys love this guy. Now, I've learned a few things about Matt Booty since I've talked about him last. He was actually, the CEO of Midway, right?
Cruising USA.
Which is kind of an insult and a compliment. We know what kind of games Midway put out. Not necessarily the best of the best, but they did have Mortal Kombat. They had a lot of stuff. Though we have to admit that Mortal Kombat wasn't what it is today. We got to admit that, right?
Midway back in the day, they were one of the pillars of gaming for sure.
Oh yeah. And they produced like what was that? Darksiders and Mortal Kombat. And they were doing all that stuff, and they had a lot of stuff, man.
Go way back to Defender and Joust. What are you talking about? That's when I remember Midway.
Fonz, you're a fucking ancient mummy still wrapped up in cloth. That's why we ain't talking about Defender and Joust.
I'm not talking about genital jousting either.
Fonz, what's your favorite memories from Midway besides them going bankrupt?
Those old games, man. You had games like NFL Blitz, Cruising, NBA Jam.
Oh yeah, NBA Jam.
Well,
you need a couple of old school gamers on the podcast, right?
I believe it was Spy Hunter. Spy Hunter was Midway, right?
Jeez, you're going way back.
Spy Hunter.
Did they have that game? Rampage, wasn't Rampage Midway?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Top Dog said Stargate, but remember, Top Dog's a fraud 70% of the time, so take that with a grain of salt. But Stargate, that sounds about right. Sounds like something Midway would make.
A lot of these kids don't understand what, like half the games I mentioned, they're like, "What? Spy Hunter? What's that?
The fuck's a spy?"
Oh my,
that's the game where you race the car and had a bunch of guns and shit on it. I had it from
yeah, and you went up in the back of the truck like Knight Rider.
Midway had some classics.
So just so you guys know, that's Matt Booty. He ran Midway for a while. Whether that's a good or bad thing, I guess that's up to you. He also was in charge of the Minecraft thing since they purchased that. So he's got a little bit more pedigree than I initially thought. Still not quite where I'd like it to be, but he has Phil Spencer's job now, and he and Shannon Loftus answer to Phil now. Phil's in charge of all the games.
I'm going to say something here, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I was very happy to hear the promotion of Booty over somebody else I thought was going to get that promotion. I'm just saying that.
You mean Shannon Loftus, yeah. I saw your comment on my video. You enjoyed the Shannon Loftus rant, so it was. I think it's a lot of validity to it. It's just
San Francisco Rush, another game. Bud the Cyborg says San Francisco Rush was Midway.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
They had a certain style of game that really like quintessential arcade games.
All the Midway games back in the day, they were fun and they were addictive. That's for sure.
Yeah, but But what have they done for us lately? Is what we're asking.
Midway went under, right? But
yeah,
I think that was the joke.
In perspective, he's been ahead in charge of Minecraft. Now look at the numbers that Minecraft done. Yeah, now he's going to be in charge of our gaming division. I don't know.
And look, I know it was already in place and it was coming. But look, they promote booty, then we get this news of Netflix Game Pass sort of thing. It's awesome. I think if this continues, Microsoft is setting themselves up for a good year.
As a gamer, I'm happy right now. I just saved myself some money. I just saved myself probably right now currently I say $150 for the year just by getting Game Pass for the year, and I'm going to enjoy all those games still. I'm going to get them day one, and I'm also going to get all the back catalog. And you know what? If I want to buy those games, I think it's after 30 days, 10% discount. After 90 days, 20% discount on the game. So if I want, I can still buy that game outright.
Yeah. Oh. So not only do you have all these games for $10 a month, but you get the discounts, as you said, on top of that. And then you've got a pretty ridiculous amount of good games in there now, like Gears of War 4 by itself is worth it for a month or two. Mad Max by itself is worth it for a month or two. F1, tons of Resident Evil games, and they all Metal Gear Solid 5. Like
Gears Ultimate Edition's on there too, which I haven't played the remaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's just seriously, I was impressed the last time I looked in there, and that's not even for me because I own every single game, and I still plan on buying Microsoft exclusives, but the ones like Sea of Thieves that I've mentioned on the channel, I am kind of on the fence about this one. I'll try it in Game Pass, and then I will buy it. I'm buying State of Decay 2 still. I'm buying Crackdown still. Yeah. Holding off on Sea of Thieves. I'll do that in Game Pass, and that's exactly what they want. It's like when they put their games on PC, people are like, oh, they're desperate, and no. They want your money, stupid. And that's why they put it on PC. They did it on purpose. They want you to play it on PC. They want you to play Game Pass.
I'm still waiting for the chat to say something negative about Game Pass, and it's not happening.
I mean, the chat is in agreement with us.
The writing's on the wall. Xbox wants to be everywhere when it concerns gaming. And eventually they will go that route. You might get apps on other things, an Xbox app, and be able to play games on other devices in the future. And you know what? If it happens, great. That's fantastic. That means more money going back into Microsoft, more money going back into gaming development. It is good for gamers. There's nothing to be mad at. The only thing you could be possibly mad at is the fact that you can't complain about plastic anymore. You can't defend and be a blind loyalist to plastic in that situation. And in that respect, great, fantastic.
That's a lot of the people that I'm hearing complain about this. They are hardcore into the flame wars and the bullet point wars and the fanboy shit. And you know what? It's just one perspective, but Sony already did this years ago. Like I said, they just didn't do it nearly as well. I can already play PlayStation exclusives on my PC. So it's just PS Now versus Game Pass. Which one's better in every way? It's Game Pass. I'm sorry. It's just a better service.
Are people even buying PS Now? Like, that service is abysmal.
It's double the price. It's $20 a month.
Well, I think it's $9 a month. I think they knocked it down to $100 a year.
I just looked on their page today, and it's $19.99 or $19.95.
One of those 50 PlayStation Now commercials I saw today during the Game Pass stuff. I saw it mentioned $9.99 and it said $99.
No, they have. Yeah, your first month is $9.99, and after that, it's $20 a month. But there's 600 games instead of the 150 on Game Pass, which is
but they're all old for pretty much. I mean, for the most part, they're limited in resolution and stuff like that. It's not comparable. It's like Batman Arkham City on the PS3, but you're streaming it. It's just not the same. So
yeah.
Once again, I don't think they can be compared, and I think consumers have spoken on that. Game Pass is the real deal. It's first in its field to do what it's doing the right way, and that's going to give them an edge. They're going to be the Netflix of gaming, and that's just how it's going to be. Submit some money into the picture. But I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. So many good topics, and we got through pretty much most of them. We did run over. Shout out to all 500 and almost 30 of you guys tuning in. Please hit that like button if you can. I'm doing another Patreon giveaway soon, so check that link out down below. Last time I gave away, Assassin's Creed Wolfenstein, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Witcher 3, Batman Return to Arkham. So many games, Cuphead. So I'm giving away a lot of stuff. Pay attention to that link. And we're going to start with some outros, guys, as we kind of end the show. D-Batch, man, good to have you on. I noticed you sitting in your lawn chair a few times, but thanks for coming on and being a fuckface with us.
Yeah, and thanks for having me. And it's good to be a part of this show every week. Looking forward to next week's show.
It'll only get better. We're just now getting back into the podcast scene like we used to do. So
I will never use the word malarkey again.
I like it.
Oh man, Luca, good rant. Thanks for coming on. Where can people find you, by the way, D, real quick?
You can find me at on D_batch on Twitter, and of course on YouTube at DBatch.
Okay, Luca, what's going on? Where can people find you? Good show.
Yeah, very good show. Had a good time. You guys can find me at the Ash and Luca on Twitter. You can also find me at the Ash and Luca on YouTube. I just started up my channel, and yeah, I thought it was a great show. We had a lot of really fun topics, and happy to have D on. Like I said, I think the dynamic is very good. So.
Vogel's King in the chat says, thanks for Evil Within 2 last month. Love the game. Yes, he won Evil Within 2 from me. And you know what? I'm getting into that game, but I got to be in a mood to go and piss myself. So, no, it's really not all that frightening so far. It's a really good game. It feels so much better than the first one. So, Fonz, man, thanks for coming on, bud. Where can people find you? What are you up to?
Yeah, they can find me at J Fonzarelli, both on YouTube and Twitter. They can find me at Loot Chest Radio, both on YouTube and Twitter. Also on every podcast directory. That's my my podcast. If you guys don't know, all console gaming podcasts, no BS, no fanboy stuff. And also, I want to put out there that I'm also on the GRG podcast at times on Friday when I can make it, and that's on K Mega's channel. At usually it's around 6 p.m. West Coast time. And then on Porter Rock 60 Frames, sometimes I'm there on Wednesdays on his channel.
What'd you call it? PTSD?
I call it PGST because it sort of is a pony gamer small talk podcast.
Oh, sort of. Shit.
Yeah.
Hey. I'm on a podcast. I'm on a podcast.
And I want to give a shout out to it's Alex out in the chat, and also Thomas Hand. Shout out to you, brother.
What's going on? It's Alex. How you been, bud? And Colt, what's going on? The Most Dangerous Man on YouTube. How you been?
The Most Dangerous. I just hit a milestone on the old YouTube channel, so it's been good. It's been good to hear from people, and just playing a lot of games. And let's just get online. Let's do something. Let's play some games.
Let's do something. Let's all boot up.
Let's get something accomplished out there.
Well, once again, thank you guys so much for checking out the show. And if you're still here, thank you so much. You guys are ridiculously dedicated. We appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way out. We're out, guys. Thanks.
Bye.